Today we got a story of probably the most psychopathic Karen of all time. I've told a few other Karen stories, but honestly this one is most definitely the craziest one. So subscribe if you like stories, and let's call today's subscriber who sent in this story, let's call her Hunter. So Hunter was 19 years old and wanted to get a part-time job while she was in college. And near her college was a local kind of bar and restaurant. So on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, she would be a waitress and make some extra money, make some money through the tips. You know, college is expensive, and even not even counting like how much the college costs, but also all the food you got to get. Anyways, right, so this all happened on one night while Hunter was, doing her shift on one Friday night. She honestly felt like this was like, she didn't feel a disturbance in the force or anything, so she had no idea what was about to come after her. Until this happened. The Karen walks in. And the thing is, right, we're just going to call her Karen. I mean, she was really fitting the typical Karen thing. She had the side haircut, the side part haircut or whatever, right? She had the big old black glasses. She was fitting the description. But anyway, she comes in and she goes to the front desk, and this is a pretty busy restaurant. This is a pretty popular place in town. So most people who come here really got to get reservations. So sure enough, Hunter's like, "Hey ma'am, how's your night tonight?" And the Karen is like, "Good." And Hunter's like, "All right, so what's your name for the reservations?" And the Karen's like, "I don't have any reservations." And Hunter's like, "All right, well, then the wait's probably going to be 20 minutes. And the Karen says, "Do you know who my husband is?" And already, like, Hunter's like, "Oh, boy, it's one of these." And Hunter's like, "No, the wait's going to be 20 minutes. And the Karen's like, "You don't even know who my husband is." And, sure enough, Hunter's like, "Yeah, I don't know who your husband is. I really don't think that's going to change anything." The Karen's like, "Well, wait until you hear this." And sure enough, right, the Karen says her husband's first and last name and then has this smug look. And maybe he was like a secret trillionaire or something, but at the end of the day, if his name isn't Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, Hunter wasn't going to know who this guy was. So Hunter's like, "Hey, okay, the wait's going to be 20 minutes. And the Karen's like, "Fine. Whatever." And she goes to sit down, and Hunter's like, in her head, she's like, "All right, so this woman's gonna be fun tonight." And sure enough, the entire time, like the entire 25 minutes that Karen is waiting there, she's on her phone playing her Candy Crush and then looking up and glaring at Hunter. The Karen was basically like pinning the entire thing on Hunter for some reason, being like, "Oh, this girl who's just doing what her job description says is the reason why I'm not eating right now," which just wasn't the case. You should have made a reservation, bro. Sucks to suck. I don't know what else to say. So eventually Hunter notices that a table is opened up. So she goes over to the Karen, is being super nice, is like, "Ma'am, we have a table for you." And the Karen is like, "Finally, you guys took forever." Which, look, at the end of the day, they can't really control how long it takes for people to eat their food, bro. Like, I don't know about you, but I definitely can't control with my mind powers making people eat faster or whatever. So the Hunter's just like, "All right, man." And Hunter's really trying to get, like, someone else to wait this girl, but, or this woman, not girl, she's, like, pretty old. But unfortunately, right, Hunter sits her down at a table and is informed that she has to be the waiter for this woman. So she's like, "All right, whatever." And she's like, "All right, here's the menu. Like, I'll come back in a second." And the Karen's like, "No, I know exactly what I want. I come here all the time," which is why I should have gotten free reservations, which Hunter was just so startled by this, or just like so, I don't know, dumbfounded, because, bro, reservations are free. What do you mean free reservations? You literally anyone can call them up. Huh? But whatever, right? That's in the past. Hunter's just like, "Ma'am, all right, what do you want then?" And the Karen literally orders like 40% of the menu. She has like 6 full course meals, half the appetizers, and Hunter's like, "Oh, are we expecting a party?" And the Karen's like, "Are you calling me fat?" And the waiter's like, "Oh no." Hunter's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No. Oh, ma'am. No, I didn't say anything. Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry." But Hunter was like, No, I didn't." And the Karen's like, "You better watch yourself. I mean, my husband will sue you and throw his dogs against you," or something like that. And sure enough, right, Hunter's like, "All right, this woman is scaring me a little bit." And Hunter brings in the order, and it's like, "All right, ma'am, well, I'll be back with the food." And the Karen, before Hunter's able to leave, is like, "You better know that I'm expecting this food to come out extra early because of all the time you forced me to wait. I know that you forced me to wait extra long on purpose. Don't think I'm stupid." And Hunter responds, "Ma'am, like, I have no control over the wait time." And, Karen responds, "Yeah, you must think I'm stupid then." And Hunter's like, "Ma'am, I literally have," and she's like, "Whatever, just go get the food." So Hunter, not liking this woman, but also very scared of her, goes off and puts in the order. Real quick, comment Karen down below if you want to heart in your comment. That is the secret word of the day. I'll be hearting as many as I can to say thank you guys for watching, as I really do appreciate you guys. And also, if you really want to help out the channel, consider binge watching a ton of videos. And if you're watching like a ton of videos in one sitting, please let me know in the comment section, like these comments up here. And if you're on like video number 6 of your binge watching session, let me know. I'll try and heart these comments and reply to them and say thank you, because watching like a ton of videos, maybe through my playlist or just watching a ton of them, is boosting the channel so much. I appreciate you guys so much for doing that. So if you guys didn't know, when food doesn't appear instantly, it takes time to make food, but apparently the Karen was not even aware of that, because, Hunter was like awaiting another table next to the Karen, and 2 minutes after, the Karen put in her order for like half the freaking menu, bro, the Karen sees Hunter at another table, just assisting another family with their meal, right? Getting their order, all that stuff. The Karen is like, "Waiter, waiter, where's my food?" And Hunter's just like, "Ma'am, it's been 2 minutes. It's going to take a while." And she's like, "What? You said it would be instant." And Hunter's like, "Ma'am, I never said that. What? And Karen's like, "Where's my food?" And Hunter's just like turns to the family like, "Sorry, let me finish taking your order." And the Karen is like whimpering and whining and screaming the entire time, while Hunter's just trying to do her job, bro. She's just trying to get, the orders of the, the great families bringing in like their kids, just trying to have a fun time. And the Karen is sitting in her chair flailing her arms. "Where's my food?" I don't know if she actually made those noises, but you get the point, right? You get the picture. So anyways, right, finally, the check eventually does, not the check, sorry, the food does come out, and, the Hunter, the waiter, brings it out in multiple waves. Like, first she brings out the entrees, and then all the type of food, right? It's like 10 plates altogether, and the Karen is like, "Took you long enough." And honestly, the food came out in like 25 minutes, which sounds like a long time, but that was so much food to prepare. Like, the fact that the kitchen was able to whip it out that fast was pretty impressive, at least Hunter thought. So Hunter's like, "All right, well, that's cool. Like, I'm finally, this woman can stop complaining. She can enjoy her food." And she notices that the Karen takes one bite from all the dishes. And Hunter seems to be having a lull in the traffic for like having to bring out food and orders. So she finds herself just watching the Karen take one bite of each of the food items. And then the Karen is like, "Waiter!" Hunter comes over, is like, "Yes, ma'am." And the Karen's like, "I need 10 boxes. And the Hunter's like, "You want me to box all 10 of these?" And the Karen's like, "Yes." So anyways, right, Hunter's a little annoyed, but boxes up all 10 of the food items she brought out, because obviously the Karen couldn't eat half of like the menu or whatever, but fine, whatever she wants to do. I mean, you can order all that food if you want, sure, bring it home, do what you want, as long as you're gonna pay. I think you guys can see where this story's about to go. So sure enough, right, Hunter spends all this time boxing up all the food, brings it back to the Karen. The Karen once again makes a snarky remark of like, "Took you long enough," which I don't know if the Karen thinks that, like, I don't know, Hunter and the people in the kitchen and the staff have superpowers, the ability to pause time and then, cook up her food or box up her food and then unpause time. So it seems like it happens instantaneously. But sure enough, Hunter's like, "All right, ma'am, thanks for dining with us. I'm just going to leave the check here. Take as much time as you want." And so Hunter leaves and gives it like, I don't know, a couple minutes, and sees that the Karen is on her phone and the check is, at the edge of the table. And if you don't know, a lot of times when you sign the check or put your credit card in or whatever, you kind of push it to the end of the table so the waiter knows that they're free to come by and pick it up when they're ready, as you've kind of filled out the required details. And sure enough, Hunter kind of just assumed this was the case, but she walked over to the check and she looked at it, and there was no credit card. There was no paper money. There was no, I don't know, Bitcoin wallet. No, I mean, you can't really give that. There was no bar of gold, right? There was no form of money, right? It was just a little piece of paper. No, it wasn't a piece of paper. I'm reading this again. It was a napkin. And on the napkin, it just said the 3 letters, IOU, which if you don't know, that basically is like saying, I'll get you back later. I'll pay you later. And Hunter's like, haha, ma'am, this is pretty funny. And the Karen's like, what's funny? And Hunter's starting to realize, oh my God, I got to explain to this lady that she can't just say IOU, spend like $600 at a restaurant, and then give them an IOU check. Like, we're a business here. Like, they got to like pay their employees. This is not some mega corporation. This is a mom and pop bar and grill type thing. Like, you can't be scamming us out of this food. So Hunter like, politely says, ma'am, like, we do need you to actually pay for it. We don't have any type of tab service or anything where you can pay a lot of money and then pay it back later. We just don't have that. And the Karen's like, no, this should do. And once again, kind of like pats her hand on the napkin that just says IOU. And Hunter's like, ma'am, I don't know how to say this. We just don't accept this. So the Karen just looks at her and kind of makes this face and then gets up to leave. And Hunter kind of stands in front of her to kind of block her from leaving and says, ma'am, I cannot let you leave the establishment without paying up front. Like, if you need to call someone or like call someone to get your credit card or call someone to like get you money, like that's totally fine. We can arrange that, but you can't leave the establishment without paying. Like I mean, at that point, like Hunter understood the business model and kind of how tight they were for cash. And she kind of explained, look, we need to go. Like, we can't like have like large outstanding debts. We're really like I know that the business is going kind of check to check. Like, we can't have you do that. And the Karen is like, this is an outrage. Picks up her phone, dials 911, says, police, you must come assist immediately. I feel in danger. Come now. They're like, all right, ma'am, we'll be there. Can you give us any more details? No. And she just turns off the phone, which I'm surprised the police even came, but I think they're legally required to. So at this point, Hunter is in complete shock because she just did not expect this to escalate that crazy so quickly. She's like, ma'am, like, why on earth did you call the police? And the Karen's like, to teach you a lesson, which, little spoiler, it's about to be an Uno reverse 180 no scope 360 moment because Karen's about to be taught a lesson. But anyways, right, the police show up. And, you know, people are like kind of looking over. It's causing a scene. The manager comes out and Hunter quickly explains what's happening. So it's Hunter, the manager, like another waiter, the Karen, and the 2 police officers that come. And the Karen decides to explain the situation. And there's been situations in older Karen stories I posted on the channel a couple days ago where the Karen calls the police and lies to them. But in this story, the Karen literally just tells the police what happened. Like, I'm legit, like, not even kidding you. The Karen just tells you, like, the story that I told you. I would have thought that she lied about something to try and get out of this, but she just kind of expected the police officers to know who her husband was and then to bow down and enforce her reign of terror, right? But no, the police officers are like, all right, ma'am, so I don't know why you called us, but it's pretty clear that you got to pay. So the Karen is like, what? No! So the Karen picks up her glass of water, splashes it in the face of the police officer, and they're like, all right now. And sure enough, the Karen is arrested on site. And Hunter's just standing there, turns to her manager and is like, am I being paid overtime for this? The manager's like, we'll discuss this in a second. Because at this point, the bar is closed. The bar closed kind of early, especially for a bar. You expect those to be open late. But for this reason, it was closing early on the day. And everyone was out. It was just the police officers and the Karen and the manager and her. She's just like, dude, what? And you might be thinking, okay, story ends there. Karen is arrested and charged for, I don't know, maybe assaulting an officer and definitely wasting their time, and she just never returns. That is where you're wrong. And I said before that this is the craziest Karen story I've ever received. And there's a reason. There's a reason why I said this is the craziest Karen story I've ever received. Because this continues, and it only gets crazier. Because flash forward a week later, actually a little more than a week later because it's a Saturday. And once again, Hunter's working the shift. And she's at the front desk, kind of like taking reservations, telling people to come in. And later in the night, she'll switch out with people and kind of take orders and bus food. But anyways, she's standing there. And at the kind of the front desk, it's like there's a window that kind of looks out. And she can see very clearly the the cars, the parking lot, and people walking in. And so anyways, Hunter's standing there. She's looking out at the parking lot, and she sees a familiar face come in, or a familiar face far away. And you know who that was? It was the Karen. But there was something very distressing about the Karen. She was not just she wasn't like how she was before, right? Purse on her like left shoulder, a lot of attitude, the Karen haircut and the glasses. It was all of that minus the purse, plus a baseball bat in her left hand or right hand. I don't know, whatever hand she was. And so Hunter starts to get really panicky and immediately calls her manager. There's like a phone at the front desk and there's a number to go dial right to the manager. And she's like, calls him up, it's like, you need to come to the front desk right now. I'm so sorry. I need you out here. I'm panicking. Help. And he's like, all right, calm down, calm down. The manager runs out and the manager comes to see Hunter staring out at the parking lot. And he's like, what's up? And Hunter points and the Karen starts walking, lumbering over with her big meaty legs and her big baseball bat, huffing and puffing. The Karen approaches, and all of a sudden, Hunter and her manager look at each other like, oh my God, why does she have a baseball bat? So the Karen's walking over, lumbering over, and she gets to the door, and she just opens the door and looks at Hunter and has this big, evil smile and says, payback. And the Karen walks right by Hunter, walks right by the manager, and the manager's like, ma'am, like, you can't enter the facility with a baseball bat. You just can't do that. And she just keeps walking by. And he's like, ma'am, are you listening to me, ma'am? And Hunter's kind of thinking, oh my God. And sure enough, the Karen gets into the restaurant. And since there's a bar in the restaurant, you know how a lot of bars have a bunch of like drinks behind them, bottles full of liquid and stuff. Karen goes up to the bar, steps behind it, and the bartender's like, ma'am, you can't be back here. Karen picks up her baseball bat and is like, yeah, just like whips her baseball bat, smashes through an entire layer of bottles. And at this point, the entire restaurant that was kind of like bumbling with a lot of people, there was a buzz of like people talking, goes dead silent. The only thing you can hear is bits of glass falling to the ground and bottles falling and breaking and just gasps from people looking over. And the Karen is like, this is called revenge. And she takes out her baseball bat once again and waddles over to the window. Boom! Baseball bat goes through the window pane like butter through hot knife through butter. I almost said butter through hot knife. That would make no sense. Boom! Right through the glass pane. The manager quickly calls 911, says, we have an emergency. I need you to come here quickly. So the Karen continues to lumber around and starts smashing stuff and looks at Hunter and says, waiter, if you were only kinder to me the day before, none of this would have happened. And so Hunter's like, I have no idea what she's talking about. And the manager's like, this woman's insane. We need help. Sure enough, the police arrive. And the police come to the site. Basically, everyone has evacuated the restaurant at this point. And it's just this woman with a baseball bat smashing stuff. And so the police walk in. And they're just like, ma'am, you got like, they're like, ma'am, drop the baseball bat. You're coming with us. And she's like, do you know who my husband is? And they're like, no, ma'am, you need to come with us. And the Karen's like, never. So one of the police officers goes up, pulls out his taser, zap. Karen just like gets obliterated. She falls to the ground. She's like, oh, it collapses. The two police officers go up and arrest her. And yeah, sure enough, the Karen is not just arrested and has actual charges against her. So, I mean, like more than what was happening before. But the Karen is also put on a restraining order. And if she ever even appears within like a 50-foot radius of the restaurant, she